I repent in behalf of this man that is on the edge of death and his brain being cooked.
So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, you got my ass with bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. Oh, I just can't understand it. Conquered defined by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She lives in a pool of blood and cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like Katrina and Gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The fundamental put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, so let the buggies will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do the show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoPlex Media. Podcast listeners, follow our Twitch channel. Make me feel good. Reminder, this is listener and viewer supported programming, so you got a few bucks to spare. Send them my way, either streamlabs.com/EchoPlex Media, or go to eplex.store or patreon.com/EchoPlex and sign up for monthly recurring donations. And live viewers on Twitch, you know Twitch is monetization stuff. I don't need to explain that to you. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Donate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Donate the cops. Donate the cops. Donate the cops. Donate the cops. Thank your local police, 'cause they don't do nothing wrong. Thank your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fairest judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. 'Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Donate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job. Donate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Donate the cops. 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 Donate the cops.
All right, everybody, there was an election this week, and it did not go the way that most of us wanted it to go. I wasn't super surprised by the outcome, but the extent to which the outcome was a bit surprising to me. It looks like the Donald Trump is going to win the popular vote once all the votes are counted. That'll be the first time a Republican candidate for president has won the popular vote since 2004, when W won the popular vote, after in 2000 not winning the vote and becoming the president. We don't do a lot of electoral politics here. The only night we really talk about it at all is Sunday, and we're usually just doing media analysis. And I don't want to give a lot of takes or act like I have like some kind of post-mortem here, but I do want to point out that it's probably not a winning strategy for the Democratic Party to attempt to get Republicans to vote for them. And I saw a lot of that in 2020, and that just barely squeaked out. And then I saw that again in 2024. And I have a message for the Democratic National Committee. Republicans vote for Republicans. That's my message. So, obviously, some of the stuff this week on the docket will be about the election. We have a short docket this week, and we're going to go pretty long on red light. We're going to continue to do what we normally do around here. Not much is going to change. We talk about the material conditions that have created the situation that we're in. We're talking about conspiracism, online influence, cults, and control groups. And, of course, local news on Tuesdays. None of that's going to change. But no, things are grim. Look out for your friends. Stick together with your people. I don't know what else to tell you. I ain't got the magic fucking advice for you. So it looked like we were going to be seeing a lot more of what we're going to see in this first story, where there was problems at the polling centers, not with the votes, but with the voters engaging in acts of violence, threatening behavior, intimidation. And we saw a lot less of that than I expected. But here's a story about Texas where it did happen.
He cast his ballot and is accused of repeatedly punching a Bexar County elections clerk. The sheriff's office says that it's because that man was asked to take off his MAGA hat.
Yeah, that clerk doing what they're supposed to do. A 63-year-old man, Jesse Lutzenberger, faces a felony assault charge. As our Daniela Ibarra explains, that charge could change, though.
It was 88 fucking degrees.
Sylvia Hernandez says it gives people power.
Their vote is their voice.
She spent the week campaigning outside the Johnston Library on the southwest side. On Thursday night, she saw an ambulance pull up, but didn't know why.
This is a press conference that I was hoping we would not have to have.
Bexar County Elections Administrator Jackie Callanan says paramedics checked on an election clerk in his 60s. An incident report says 63-year-old Jesse Lutzenberger punched him. The report says Lutzenberger wore a red MAGA hat inside. Sheriff Javier Salazar says poll workers asked him to take it off twice.
Wearing clothing supporting a political candidate, which that's electioneering. And it's certainly something that you're not supposed to do.
Lutzenberger is charged with assault, a felony.
Is there a different charge for assaulting an election worker?
Well, that's what we're looking at now.
Callanan says the election clerk is back at the polls. Security is also beefed up there.
That's very scary, because it makes you stop and think, wow, am I going to be safe?
Hernandez says political disagreements shouldn't get physical.
Let the best man win. There's no reason for violence. None.
Daniela Ibarra, KSAT 12 News.
So someone in chat said, why can't you wear whatever you want at the polls? It does seem kind of silly, but it's technically electioneering. You're not supposed to be advocating for any candidate or cause inside the polling place. I think the idea there is it stops people from fucking getting into fights and arguing. Wouldn't it suck for you? Like if you were at the polling place and you had a person with a Harris Walls hat and then a person with a MAGA hat and they just started fucking arguing and you were in line for 2 hours and you were right behind them and they just fucking argued for 2 hours. Wouldn't that make you just want to leave? Make me want to leave. All right. So we got hosts on Fox's The Five are now calling for the people who've prosecuted Donald Trump to be executed. Because, of course, that's what they did. It's Fox's The Five.
Jesse, there's a sense that everyone involved in this lawfare universe realized that they become the bad guy in the movie. It's like there's a hero now, and it's like the opponent at the end of a movie when the guy wins, the guy has to kind of walk away. They have to kind of walk away.
It's like you on this show.
Oh.
When you realize you're the bad guy. I keep forgetting that Donald Trump was running to stay out of prison. Now, if I were running to stay out of prison, I would be disciplined. And Trump's like, when did she become black?
Yeah.
It's like, what? Are you crazy?
Why is Jesse Waters? Just why is he?
Make ethnic jokes.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Right. So he gambled and he won because it was either like he wins and he might get shot again. He loses. He's going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. That is absolutely crazy. It's also crazy that they called this guy a dictator, and then when he won, they're like, oh, we're going to help with the transition.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, they love transitions. Dana.
Oh, the one joke.
Yes, exactly. A lot of the people that were on this that wanted it so badly, how are they going to survive? Do you think they need therapy?
Yes, they definitely need therapy, and maybe also the death penalty.
Yes, I think the death penalty.
I think also that would be
yes.
it. I think one of the things that's interesting is like, you could do a rhetorical switch when you say that in spite of all of these legal cases against him, he won. And I changed it to because of all of these legal cases.
Yes, wow. Very clever,
very
Dana.
good.
Very clever. Somebody's getting a cupcake when she gets home.
God, those people are fucking insufferable. So, I don't know. They could probably play it off like they were joking, and I don't think that they were being entirely serious, but it's not great to be even like half jokingly advocating for the death penalty for your political opponents just because they are your political opponents. If somebody's your political opponent and they went on a fucking murder spree, and if you are a person who believes in the death penalty, okay, you could advocate for that. You're like, well, they went on a fucking murder spree. But this is just somebody like filing criminal charges that they believed they had evidence for. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of a timeline here now. This is what some people were saying before the election. We're going to start with Mickey Rourke, who, not looking so great, but like whatever. I would take his house.
But I'm not going to go into it because I don't need another visit from the Secret Service.
When did you have one before?
Oh, about 6 months ago.
Why?
Take a wild guess.
Was it because of something he said about President Trump?
Yeah.
What did you say about him?
Just the truth.
Which is what?
Read my mind.
Jesus fucking Christ. Terrifying. Terrifying. Yo, dude, fucking chill the fuck out. Don't be wilding out to the point where the fucking Secret Service comes to your house, all right? All right. Here we go. We got Fat Joe before the election.
I gotta explain to you. I really want you to feel the moment. I am a sucker for a good laugh. I'm the guy they throw out the movie theater because the movie's too funny and I'm making too much noise. I'm the guy that you can roast me in a comedy club and I will laugh with you all the way out. The other day in Madison Square Garden, that was no joke, ladies and gentlemen. That was no joke. And it was filled with so much hate. Hatred of Jewish people, hatred of black people, carving watermelons, calling Puerto Rico an island of garbage. My Latinos, where is your pride? I don't know why, but if I'm speaking to some undecided Puerto Ricans, especially in Pennsylvania, what more they got to do to show you who they are? I'm telling you. And the thing about Fat Joe, if you don't know him, he's authentic. He will not sell his soul for nobody in the world. If I tell you Kamala Harris is with us, she's with us.
So I think what a lot of people miss is that a lot of Americans like that shit. More than we thought, but like a lot of Americans, they ain't mad at that shit. They like that shit. They think it's funny. They think it's fucking true. Not great. So up next, we got Amy Klobuchar before the election. Wait, why is this not working? Fucking wonderful websites these people have here. Anybody ever wonder, is this show actually live? Yeah, this show's live. Here it goes. Yeah, this is Amy Klobuchar before the election. Hopefully she doesn't throw anything at anybody.
Women are turning out in droves, and a number of them, even in 2022, that voted for Democratic Senate candidates, like we saw in Nevada, Arizona, other places.
Lady white women voted for Trump.
Well. So I'm very positive about this. I will note that I was a little shocked that one of their closing arguments for Donald Trump was take the fluoride out of water. I guess they're ending with more cavities. This doesn't make sense, and to me, you have seen Kamala Harris from the beginning unite our party and then immediately reach out to independents and Republicans. Did I think that?
Yeah, that was wrong. Okay, the independents, okay, whatever, but the independents are usually going to lean one way or the other, and they probably already know who they're going to vote for. The Republicans aren't voting for Democrats. They're Republicans. They're Republicans because they vote for fucking Republicans. This was all fucking so stupid. What a horrible, they were like, oh, you know what? There's a lot of people who are to the left of the Democratic Party. Let's not reach out to those people. Those people are, you know, if we do some advocacy to them, if they're going to vote for us. So instead, let's see if we can't get big fans of Dick Cheney to vote for us. Fucking idiots. Here's Mae Musk, apartheid Clyde's mother, before the election.
He just is way ahead in the space race.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to see someone who embraces so much hope and dynamism and excitement about the future. And I think, you know, reading some of your book, which is so interesting, it's clear that you instilled that. You have your own strong sense of adventure. What does he say about what it's like, you know, this whole road of getting involved in U.S. politics? He's in deep.
Yes, well, he hasn't got a choice because, of course, Kamala wants to close down X, formerly Twitter.
Did the Harris campaign say they want to close down the Twitter?
And she also, and then the democratic process, they delay everything. They delay rocket launches. They are negative and hateful and have investigations and lawsuits against, SpaceX and Tesla and even Neuralink. You would think.
Well, he just second. Yeah, I mean, that's what the regulators are supposed to be there for. Like most CEOs of most companies don't have their mom going on fucking TV to complain about regulation. We got one more of May Musk. This one appears to be on, I don't know what this is, the bottom line with Dagan and Duffy. I don't even know what channel this is on. But we're gonna take a look here in a moment. Wonderful websites these people, these companies have. Takes fucking forever now to get these fucking videos up. Here we go. This is actually Threads that's being the problem this week.
About strong and Mark Cuban made the comment about strong, intelligent women are never around Donald Trump. And I wanted to get your reaction to that.
Well, it's certainly not us. And it's certainly not my friends, because they can put sentences together, and you know who can't. The absurdity of the absurd in the absurdity is absurd.
What?
I mean,
of course. You just said that other people can't put sentences together.
Really? Yeah.
All right. Well, that was whatever it was. And then I think we got two more before the election. We got RFK Jr. Prior to the election. Let's see what kind of nonsense he had to say before. This looks like it was right before the election. This guy's going to be the fucking head of the FDA.
Tonight, we learned that Ann Seltzer of the very influential Des Moines Register poll says that Trump is now behind by 3 points against Harris. This is just one of many polls there, but you get 3% in that race. So if you took out your 3%, they would be tied, but she's ahead in the Iowa poll. How concerned are you about being on these polls, and it might affect the candidate that you're supporting?
Well, I am concerned about it. I mean, the Democratic Party sued me in 10 states to keep me off the poll. We spent $10 million defending those suits. And then when I endorsed President Trump, Martha, they switched around and sued to keep me on the ballot in those states. And this is
called politics
interference. They're trying to deprive the American public of their, I'm not running for president. Why would they want a candidate on the ballot who is not running for president?
Because you filled out all the forms to be on the ballot when you claimed you were running for president. So you're on the ballot because that's how it works. I mean, I'm no election expert, but I think that's how that works. Up next, The Onion is so back. We got The Onion before the election. Check this out. This one's pretty funny. I watched this before. This one's great.
New polling out this week shows a tight race in a handful of hotly contested swing states. Joining me now to break down the numbers is ONN's Jason Copeland at the Big Map.
Thanks, Dwight. We're seeing some really interesting trends in a lot of key battleground states. Let's start with Pennsylvania with its coveted 19 electoral votes. And I want to focus for a moment on Erie County up here. This is a crucial swing county. It goes Trump in 2016, narrowly back to Biden in 2020. Now, I want to go in even further than that. This right here, this is Mill Creek Township, District 2. Polls are showing momentum toward Harris in areas like this. But to really understand what's going on, let's go even closer closer, zoom in a little bit more, right here, right here. This is 114 Hilltop Lane. Now I want to take us inside the bedroom here. Bear with me. There we go. So this is Nick Camden, 37-year-old registered independent. He goes Hillary in 2016, Trump in 2020. Which way is he going to go in 2024? Really hard to say at this point. It's pretty early, but we know it's going to be close.
And Jason, what are you seeing inside this person that might indicate movement one way or another?
So this is just a very ordinary Rust Belt body, small town values, predominantly white. It's got the lungs, it's got the vascular system, the heart, but I actually want to show you what's in here. This is the neocortex and the amygdala. These are areas of the brain responsible for regulating emotion and memory. So let's play out a couple of scenarios here. If, for example, this man remembers his grandmother and the time she took him to an Al Gore rally in 1999, feels good about that, that's a win for the Democrats. On the other hand, take a look at this. This is the area of the brain that's associated with social interaction and groups, and we've seen it light up when Nick goes out for beers with his Trump-supporting coworkers. So we're looking at really a thin margin here. I want to show you something, actually. Let's come back out. Let's go past the rib cage, past the lungs, past the heart, past the tumor. Healthcare going to be a really big issue in this election, obviously. Past the DNA to what we're calling the source, the origin of life, existence itself, where all of humanity's answers can be found.
And can we zoom in further than that?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm scared. But what we can do is we can actually zoom out here, out of the DNA, out of Nick Camden, out of Erie, Pennsylvania, out of the solar system to the edges of our cosmos, where we see ultimately how meaningless this whole race really is and how insignificant all of our tiny little lives really are.
That is a big map. Thank you, Jason. Coming up next, the Trump campaign is in full-on damage control after footage leaked of the candidate being extremely rude.
In perilous times of great uncertainty.
God, I'm so glad fucking Ben Collins bought The Onion. The video stuff from them has been fantastic, and good for him for getting out of like the dystopia beat, because he was, I don't know if you heard any of the interviews with Ben after he bought The Onion with some of his friends. He was not happy on the dystopia beat at all. Very, very unhappy. So good for him for being able to switch gears and do something fun. Now we're going to after the election. This is RFK Jr. after the election.
You say clearing out the corruption in your terms. Would that mean clearing out the top level federal service workers that are currently at the FDA and the CDC?
In some categories, I would say.
What does that look like? Yeah.
In some categories of workers, there are entire departments, like the nutrition departments at FDA, that have to go. That are not doing their job. They're not protecting our kids. Why do we have Fruit Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients, and you go to Canada and it's got 2 or 3?
Would you eliminate any of the agencies?
2 or 3 ingredients in Fruit Loops? Get the fuck out of here.
To eliminate the agencies, as long as it requires congressional approval, I wouldn't be doing that. And I can get the corruption out of the agencies. This is what I've been doing for 40 years. I've sued all those agencies. I have a PhD in corporate corruption, and that's what I do. And once they're not corrupt, once Americans are getting good science and are allowed to make their own choices, they're going to get a lot healthier.
So there's this thing that goes around a lot of times about how other countries, I don't think there's just 3 ingredients in Fruit Loops in Canada. But they'll say, oh, this country doesn't allow you to use, I don't know, red dye number 47 or whatever it might be. But then you find out that in Europe, they just call it something else. And they totally use it, that it hasn't been banned. Or you find out that consumers in Europe don't care that much about how colorful their food is, so they don't use the dye there because they don't use the dye there. It's never that these things have been banned because they're going to kill you. Over and over and over again, we hear this crap, and it's just not true. So, not that matters anymore, right? Obviously, whether or not things are true. I was way out ahead on this. We were covering this stuff a long time ago, where conspiracism, has kind of taken over our body politic, and we are where we are. Up next, the mooch went on CNBC, and it went like this.
There were certain things that happened in that campaign, Andrew, that I'm not in love with. There was a coarseness to some of the rhetoric. There was some threatening suggestions to people related to being political adversaries and so on and so forth. And I hope we can put that rhetoric aside and we can move forward and think about what we're going to do as a country to unify the country and make the people in the country, particularly the lower and middle income people in the country, more prosperous.
Yeah, the rhetoric got heated everywhere. You got pretty heated, Anthony, at times.
Look, Joe, how did I get heated? What did I say, Joe?
About Trump?
Yeah, what did I say? I said I repeated what he was saying. I said this is wrong.
Anthony,
Come on, Joe.
you have had an utter disdain for Trump. You'll always be welcome at the table of legacy media and have people nodding as you trash Trump. That's always going to happen. But aren't you the slightest bit embarrassed or at least humbled about how wrong you were about the feeling of most Americans, let me finish, and for enthusiastically supporting a candidate who a majority of people thought had no business being anywhere near the Oval Office? And you're a Republican, and you saw that all the different policies that she was talking about are anathema to what you thought your whole life, and yet you went along with it. Do you ever eat any crow, or not even a little crow wing, really like a little capon? Or you just, I mean, Michael Avenatti could still be on TV trashing Trump. You'll always find a place on TV. If he wasn't in prison, he'd still be on CNN running for president with Brian Stelter. Just give me a little bit, Anthony, about how wrong you were.
Joe, first of all, I immediately put out a congratulatory tweet. They won, we lost. In the immortal words of Barry Diller when he lost a Paramount deal. Next, Joe, what would you like me to do? Do you want me to get on bended knee before you?
No, I thought you were going to start it.
Mooch is like, dude, fucking you guys won.
That's not even what America is about, Joe. We have a violent disagreement about lots of things related to Trump's personality. You like Trump. I was up close to Trump. I got to see the ugliest of what he is. And by the way, Joe, it's not just me. There were 40 of us that worked for the president that warned people. So
I think he's been very good for your. I think he's been very good for your career, Anthony. I think he's been incredibly good. You're here, are you not? And you're going to be
just leave. The Mooch should just leave. You're like, what the fuck is this? Just leave
for you, and you'll be able to live off this for another 4 years.
Joe, why don't you calm down? Why don't you calm down a second, Joe? We know each other a long time. Are you saying that you and I can't disagree on somebody's personality? Is that what you're saying? And you're saying what I'm saying in terms of identifying those features and traits of the personality. You don't see those too, but you're choosing to ignore them?
I guess 75 million people looked at everything you looked at and decided that there were other things that.
But there were 67 million people. I know that didn't, Joe. That's what makes America, Joe. That's what makes America, Joe. But you're saying to me that stuff that I was saying wasn't factually true. If somebody's saying they're going to use the American military to go after their political adversaries, and I say, geez, that sounds very un-American to somebody like me.
Is that what he said, Vivek?
Oh, no.
Is that what he's going to do?
Of course he said it.
So let me see if I can
we'll go to the
be
tape.
helpful here for a second, guys. Let me just take a moment to say this was a decisive win. All right, put aside whether you're a Republican or Democrat. This is the first time a Republican has won the popular vote.
I admitted that it was
decades.
decisive. And Joe wants something more. He wants like an extra pound of flesh or something like that. I congratulated you guys.
Yeah, I mean, like he's like, dude, he's like, I still think those things are wrong. He's like, the fucking person that I thought was wrong seems to have won the election. Like, what? He's like, what else do you want from me? You want a pound of flesh? Like, and maybe the answer to that is, yeah, maybe the guy does want the pound of flesh. But like, what the, like, I don't understand, especially after what we saw last election, where everybody's like, no, the election was rigged. And the Mooch was just like, I still don't like him. I think what he said was wrong. I still think what he said was wrong. And the guy's like, well, don't you have to eat some crow here? And all the stuff you said was wrong. He didn't say anything wrong. He didn't say anything was wrong. He just was on the losing side of the election. That's what fucking happens. Sometimes your candidate doesn't win. That's what he said. He's like, this is what we do. We have an election. And sometimes your guy wins. And sometimes your gal loses or whatever it might be. Like, he was totally chill. He seemed kind of befuddled by what was going on, honestly. And to be fair, the Mooch, when I saw that had happened, I was like, ooh, there's some chance the Mooch is going to go in on this guy, right? Here we got Fox and Friends, just angry at crime stats.
can compare the two candidates' records on immigration. There are less people crossing at the border today than during Donald Trump's presidency, but you can also compare their records on crime. Crime shot up when Donald Trump was president. At the end of Donald Trump's presidency, we were less safe. Crime has come down under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Do you really think you have a strong argument there from the party that gave you to fund the police? You got to be kidding me. Who's tougher on crime, Trump or her?
100%. But look at the data, right? Crime has come down. We have 20% fewer urban homicides.
They revamped their crime stats, and they went up to 4.2% increase.
That's not true. Urban gun homicides have come down in this country by 20%. Mass shootings are 20% fewer this year than last year. It is just absolutely true that there are fewer gun homicides in this country. And I know that's inconvenient, but that is the truth.
Senator, you know what's the truth?
Brian Kilmeade's dumb. Like, yeah. And we have this, I work on this hypothesis that there's like a base level of, like, especially with all the guns that are available in America, there's sort of like a base level of violent crime. And I think like it started coming down like pretty steadily from the mid 90s through like the mid 2010s. And I think there may be a way in which there's a floor that the violent crime rate is just kind of bouncing off of. I don't have any fucking research or anything about this, but it seems like that might be the case. And if that's the case, it's going to, when it bounces off the floor, people are going to be like, oh, the crime is up. And then it goes back down again and it goes up and it's just going to like fucking like this or like this. Great. This is great for the people listening to the audio only podcast, by the way. But like, it's again, the violent crime rate, especially in big cities, is down to like pre-pandemic levels, which was the lowest among, year to year it changed, but it was among the lowest ever recorded. Anyway, we have a palate cleanser. I thought about not including this, and I was like, well, the docket's a little thin. I was like, so we'll go ahead and include this. This is our palate cleanser. We'll call this Don't Touch My Hair.
My dream.
What about anal? Don't ever touch my hair like that.
Don't ever touch my hair. Fucking amazing. Now we're going to move over, as we would say, across the pond. A British TV host talks about the ramifications of colonialism. And this isn't going to be great. Not very good at all.
Shouldn't they actually be paying us? Because some of these Caribbean countries are very prosperous. They've done extremely well. And they did well because the British gave them the rule of law and democracy and capitalism. And this has been incredibly successful. The British Empire was an amazing force for good, for civilization, and for raising people's standards of living. So why should we have to pay for doing that? Surely we should be paid.
I think that's a very bold question to ask a strong black woman on your channel, Jacob. And I'll actually pose a question to you. Would you say that about Jews? So I'll just give the context. First and foremost, one could easily argue that the Jewish community, the Israeli Jews, benefited from the Holocaust. And
but I don't think you could. I think
allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Let me bring it home, Jacob. Let me bring it home. They benefited from Holocaust and Hitler due to the fact that they were given the state of Israel. Their life expectancy improved, and last but not least, their GDP improved. Israel's GDP improved as a result of Germany giving reparations in 1952. So would you say on national TV about the Jews that they should be happy and should be thanking Hitler and the Holocaust, Amy and David, for what they have gone through because they have benefited in terms of money? I would argue that Amy and David, Jacob wouldn't say this about Jews, but he's saying it about black people. So let me know what you're saying here, Jacob.
About the whole history.
Damn, girl. He was like, you should be thanking us for occupying your lands because, I don't know, we gave you a technology and we taught you capitalism. And the lady was like, wait, what? Are you serious? She's like telling me that? Oh, fucking crazy. And that, by the way, that's Jacob Rees-Mogg, I believe is his name. And he is a fucking ghoul. And I'm surprised we haven't covered him yet on the Intellectual Dollar Tree. We may, though. We very well may. Did you know, everybody, actually, that according to Johnny Enlow, a MAGA prophet, that Trump's probably just going to actually return to the Oval Office fucking tomorrow. I'm not going to wait till January. He's going to return tomorrow because the Supreme Court's going to find out that he won in 2020. And of course, this guy's on fucking Elijah's list.
The Supreme Court has already ruled that the 2020 election was fraudulent.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't been announced. It's not been time. There has been concern, I believe, from the White Hats that it would possibly lead to anywhere from mayhem to civil war for them to announce that Trump is the rightful president, and that it would, that ruling, even when we talked to Lloyd Brunson that a year or 2 years ago, whenever it was, Steve, it was like part of the ruling would immediately put Trump back in power.
Yeah, isn't that great?
And I believe they're supposed to, I believe that ruling is to be read, is to be announced immediately. That
really?
That way, by Monday, we can have Trump in president. They don't get 75 days to do all kinds of dastardly things.
Yo, you guys just won, and you can't stop cooking. Can't stop baking that shit. He's talking about the White Hats and shit. That's fucking pilled to the gills. But don't worry, folks. And I don't have a clip of this, but liberals can do it too. If anybody remembers during the 2020 election cycle, you can go on Twitter. There were a bunch of not good shit libs, not shit libs that are not good shit libs like me. We're basically still trying to relitigate the 2016 primary and suggesting that Sanders shouldn't have run in 16 or in 2020 because shit lib. And so like everybody does this. Everybody does some version of this, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Up next, we got Carrie Lake lost. That's good. Carrie Lake lost. There were people who voted for Trump and voted for Carrie Lake's opponent in Arizona, which is interesting ticket split. But before the election, we got some weirdos here, including Sean Fucked, praying for a Carrie Lake victory. I guess God just couldn't do it for them.
Lord, I thank you that you are Lord over every one of these people's lives. I thank you that you have called them to very specific missions.
Oh, it's Charlie Kirk.
And I pray that you would give them, that you would empower them to continue to do the mission that you've called them to. Thank you for Carrie. Thank you for her courage. Thank you for her faith. Thank you for her pursuing your wisdom, Lord. And I pray her into this office, Lord. I pray that you would bless our state with her in office, Lord.
Didn't work out for you. Fucking Charlie Kirk. Remember when like Turning Point USA and Charlie tried to act like they were sort of serious people, and it was like not like anti-religious, but like a more sort of secular organization where they didn't lean hard into religion because they were just busy like telling you all the bad shit about college or whatever. The trajectory of Turning Point USA has been interesting, and I think there'll be some hopefully there's a good video essay coming out about that at some point. Won't be from me because I hate video editing. Up next, we got Tucker Carlson, a hurricane expert.
Making the case that, sometimes we need to have an abortion, okay. If you're making the case that abortion is an affirmative good, you are evil, you're practicing child sacrifice. And that is exactly what they're doing, as every culture before us has. But to see the Treasury Secretary that...
I feel weird saying this. Abortion and child sacrifice are not the same.
Dwarf Janet Yellen get up and say, you can do your part to help the American economy by killing your child.
Wait, what?
That's no different than
I don't think Janet Yellen said that.
Actually. So if people who don't see that clearly, that's exactly what it is. Worshiping abortion, the killing of kids. Not as something that needs to happen, unfortunately, but it's something that is good, that's pro-abortion. People, and I have to say, I'm sure I'll be attacked for saying this, but I really believe it. People are like, oh, well, we had another hurricane, must be global warming. No, it's probably abortion, actually, to be honest. Like, you can't do that. You can't kill children on purpose, knowing that you're doing that in exchange for power or freedom or happiness, or whatever you think you're getting in return. You can't participate in human sacrifice without consequences. You just can't. Sorry.
So the wind comes?
Trust me, I'm a secular person from La Jolla, California, who was baptized in the Episcopal Church. And if I can see that, if it's obvious to me,
you're not a secular person.
I think it's very obvious to a lot of people.
I mean, like deep down inside, I don't think this guy's religious, right? I don't think that he probably believes in an interventionist God, but he sure cozies up to the Christian right. That's been his shtick the whole fucking time. Hurricanes don't actually care what abortion policy is. I don't think hurricanes have the ability to care about anything. It's a fucking hurricane. It's like an act of nature or whatever, right? Like it has no ability to, how would hurricane doesn't know anything, right? It has no idea what your politics are, what decisions you've made. It can't possibly know anything. It's a hurricane. These people are crazy. But do you remember when people were blaming hurricanes on gay marriage and shit? It's got that kind of energy. Up next, we got Cocaine Don Jr. talking about Diddy's arrest.
Why would anyone, even a liberal celebrity, endorse Kamala Harris? Well, one reason is because we're seeing unprecedented amounts of pay for play. Again, none of this is organic. It's a paid influencer operation. Know that. The celebrities who are getting paid are getting probably paid in another way because they're either on an Epstein list or a Diddy party list or both. We all saw that, huh?
Wait a minute.
Diddy gets busted and all
I have some questions.
Everyone's endorsing the Democrat just out of nowhere. Huh. The people that were endorsing Trump, well, we're going to go the other way now. I wonder why that is.
So this is pretty wild because the Diddy party thing, I guess, is different because we don't have all the information. But the Epstein thing, it's so weird that these people are like holding on to it because Donald Trump and Elon Musk were friendly with Jeff Epstein until Trump wasn't. But it's like I don't understand how this like works for those people. And by the way, like some people were friends with Epstein like before even the first trial. You can forgive that, right? They had no idea what was going on. They just thought he was some finance guy with a jet. Then there were people who were friends with him after the first trial, including Donald Trump, and Elon Musk was at least pictured with Ghislaine. We don't know the extent of their relationship, and we probably never will because a lot of these people act like there's some secret list somewhere that Epstein kept. He's like, crime people and the crimes I did with them. Little black book, right? Fucking people engaged in crimes tend to like to write things down in a place that everybody's going to find them. So that's my take on that. And I've been corrected. It's Epstein, not Epstein. That's what's important here. We got one more for the docket this week. The docket was short. Red light's going to be long, I guess. There's not a lot of dystopia beat stuff to cover this week because the election sucked up all the fucking air, and I wasn't going to run a lot of stuff about the election. But don't worry, we got our last clip of the docket this week is Matt Walsh, a friendship expert.
I mean, if a friend came over for a beer and sat down next to me on the couch and said, "Hey, man, I just want you to know that I love you and your relationship is really important to me," I would find it extremely awkward. I would not have an eloquent response. It would be something.
Nobody ever told me they liked me before. I wouldn't know how to respond.
Something like, cool. Thanks, man. So anyway, did you watch the game last night? It wouldn't even matter what game, any game. I just want to change the subject, basically, would be the goal there.
Fellas, is it bad to say something nice to and about your friends? I thought that was good. I've taken hella ecstasy, though. I'd be like, I love all of you. And he wouldn't do very well at all at an ecstasy party. And good. I don't want him at any party, particularly one where people are on Molly. My God. Guy spills his fucking guts to you on Molly. Be very unhappy. So what we're going to do this week, because the docket part of the show was so short, we're going to give away the entire show to people, everybody. Either go to patreon.com or eplex.store. You can get the entire show for free. It'll be up. It'll already be up by the time the podcast comes out, so I don't know what I'm saying here. And while you're there, though, consider becoming a member. This project relies on your support. It's a show. Sorry, everybody who likes the news show, I guess, but it was a shorty this week. Live viewers, you know the deal. Sit tight. We'll be back with Red Light in a few minutes. This is Boomers by Periscope.